All right, so here is the interest rate hack you didn't know you needed. So if you look back the last couple weeks, we've been talking a lot about interest rate hacks. And today we're going to dive deeper into the types of buy downs. So today we're actually talking about a temporary buy down, how it can help you, and how it's used in a purchase transaction. Now, welcome to the Home Loan Channel, where we talk about anything and everything having to do with the mortgage process. And as you know, today we're talking about temporary buy downs, how they can help you save money short term as opposed to long term, like it is with a permanent buy down. So let's recap. What is a temporary buy down? A temporary buy down buys down your rate temporarily for a specific amount of time in your mortgage loan. Now, let's give an example real quick. Again, as always, this is not a quote, just to help you understand a little more about what a temporary buy down is. Now, let's say you're buying a $500,000 home and you actually offer $500,000 for it. Now, for this example, we're going to do the exact same as last week when we did permanent buy downs. We're going to say it's a 10% down, so you're given $50,000 up front as your down payment. So the loan amount you have left is $450,000. Now, similar to last week, this interest rate is 6.5 on a $450,000 loan is going to be right around $3,600 a month, just a little bit over that. Now, the question is, how does that work with a temporary buy down? Now, because you're in a fixed rate mortgage, you're not actually getting a changing interest rate through this time, but what they do is put that money from the sellers that's going to be equivalent to the difference you'd be paying if you were paying 3% lower, 2% lower, or 1% lower. So let's say you're able to get a seller's credit of $12,000 on this home. Now, what you can do with a temporary buy down is buy down your rate temporarily. And for this example, we're going to use a 2-1 buy down. So what this is saying is the first year in the mortgage, your interest rate is 2% lower than what your initial rate is. And the second year, it's 1%, 2-1 buy down. So over the first 2 years, you're paying a mortgage rate that's equivalent to if your rate was 2% lower the first year and 1% lower the second year. Now, we find this number by calculating out what your monthly payment would be if you paid 2% lower on every month for a year plus 1% lower every month for another year. We add these two numbers together. This is how much your buy down costs. It is actually the amount that you'd be saving. Now, with temporary buy downs, because it works like this, you can't pay for it yourself. The seller or the real estate agent has to pay for it for you, which in this market right now is not super hard to get those accepted, but we are starting to see the market shift a little bit. So these might not be super useful for that much longer. Now, the sum of this money, what you'd be saving over the first 2 years, paid by the seller, goes into a separate escrow account. And what the bank does is they say, we're going to take the equivalent of what 1 month at 2% lower would be and take it off of your mortgage account and pull from this escrow account to cover it. So for this scenario, let's say we're at that 6.5 on a $450,000 loan. If you did a 2-1 buy down, your first year in your mortgage, you'd be paying what's equivalent to if your mortgage was at a 4.5%, 2% lower than 6.5. Now, this is going to save you about $565 per month for the first year. And then the second year, it would jump to a 5.5, saving you about $290 per month the second year. Now, overall, this would save you in the first 2 years of your mortgage a little over $10,200. So this temporary buy down is an incredible option for anybody thinking that the rates in the market are going to be dropping anytime in the next year to 2 years, or anybody who just wants to save a little bit up front. Say you can afford the payment at the 6.5 rate, but maybe you're looking to buy an investment property down the line. You can save these first 2 years and pretty much get part of a down payment for another property in a couple of years. It's a really good loan to use to save money and really put that money on the side. Now, the other thing that's really cool about a buy down like this is if you decide to refinance before that 2 years is up, you can actually use the remainder of the money in the escrow account towards your refinance. So you can use it to buy down your rate or for your fees, whatever you need it for. Now, you can't cash it out and keep that money for yourself. It's got to be used towards the purchase of the home because it's in an escrow account. But it can definitely help. Even if you refinance in 8 months after you get into contract, you can use whatever's left over that hasn't been used yet towards the refinance and towards buying down your rate, possibly permanently. So what are the biggest benefits of a temporary buy down? Number one, the sellers have to pay for it. Now, you get the offer accepted and a credit for it to work, but you can't pay for it yourself. Number two, if you think rates are going to drop, you don't waste this money. Someone else not only pays it, but you can use it again towards that refinance. If you think rates are going to drop, and if they do drop in the next 2 years or however long you have left on your temporary buy down, you can use that money towards the refinance. Number three, it's going to allow you to keep more money monthly in your pocket. I know interest rates are crazy high right now. This is an option that's going to help you save the most over the next few years up front while rates are still fluctuating so much. Now, what's the catch? Everybody always wonders what the catch is. What's the catch to using a temporary buy down? The catch is that you still have to qualify at the initial rate. So using a temporary buy down as opposed to permanent buy down does not actually help you qualify for any more of a house because it's just temporarily lowering your rate. You still have to qualify at the initial payment from whatever the interest rate's going to be for the life of the rest of the loan. So wrapping up here, those are some of the biggest benefits of a temporary buy down, how you can use it for you to help build equity, to possibly buy down your rate later on in term, or just to save some money up front monthly. Now, as always, thanks for watching. I always appreciate it. If you guys could spare just a quick moment, hit that like button, subscribe, and go comment below. I always answer your comments. Now, lastly, if you're in California and you want to fill out a loan application and let me help you, please go down. My app is linked below. Go fill it out. I'll reach out to you personally. I'd love to connect with you. And if you're just looking to connect, my website's linked down below as well. Go and read some stuff about me. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, go check it out. I do a lot of first-time buyer and home education stuff on there. So thanks for watching.